Top Heat World News, Friday, September 13th, 2024. Hello and welcome to USA Weekly News Plus. Buckle up, folks, because it's Friday the 13th and thankfully we're just reporting the news, not living it. Today we're diving headfirst into a world seemingly determined to outdo a carnival funhouse mirror in terms of sheer absurdity. From the devastating earthquake in Morocco to the G20 summit grappling with a planet on the brink of a meltdown, we'll cover it all. Don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and comment. And for those of you who enjoy a little retail therapy after a healthy dose of existential dread, stay tuned for our affiliate market links in the description. A powerful 6.8 magnitude earthquake struck Morocco this week, and the images coming out of there are just devastating. The historic city of Marrakesh has been particularly hard hit, with buildings reduced to rubble. Emergency response teams are working tirelessly, racing against time to find survivors. Every hour that passes, hope dwindles, and it's a stark reminder of nature's power. The world is watching, sending condolences and support, but for those waiting desperately for news, none of that feels like enough. The scale of this disaster is immense, and the road to recovery will be long and arduous. But even amidst the rubble, resilience shines through. Stories of neighbors helping neighbors offer a glimmer of hope in the darkness. We'll continue to follow developments in Morocco and provide updates as the situation unfolds. In the meantime, we'll post links to organizations providing aid. Meanwhile, on the other side of the globe, the G20 summit wrapped up in New Delhi. And boy, was it a doozy. World leaders gathered to discuss the impending collapse of civilization as we know it. Climate change, economic inequality, the transition to renewable energy, it was all on the table. Leaders from the United States, China, and the European Union managed to agree on the need for urgent action to reduce carbon emissions. Now, how much of that translates into meaningful policy changes remains to be seen, but still, a glimmer of hope, however faint, is better than none at all. So, as the G20 leaders jetted off, the question remains, will they actually walk the walk after talking the talk? Only time will tell. And just when you thought things couldn't get any bleaker, we turn our attention to Libya, where torrential rains have unleashed catastrophic flooding, particularly in the city of Benghazi. The images are heartbreaking, homes submerged, streets turned into raging rivers, and families clinging desperately to whatever's left above water. The Libyan Red Crescent reports that hundreds have already lost their lives, and many more are missing. The true extent of the devastation is still unfolding, but one thing is tragically clear: this is a disaster of epic proportions. Floodwaters have swallowed entire neighborhoods, turning homes into watery tombs and leaving a trail of destruction in their wake. Roads have been washed away, bridges have collapsed, and critical infrastructure has been crippled, making rescue and relief efforts even more challenging. The situation in Libya is dire, and the international community must step up and provide immediate assistance. We'll continue to monitor the situation in Libya and provide updates as they become available. In the meantime, we urge you to consider donating to reputable organizations working on the ground to provide relief to those affected by this tragedy. Well, folks, it seems Kim Jong-un is at it again, proving that some world leaders take Casual Friday a bit too literally. North Korea decided to grace us with another missile launch this week, this time a shiny new model that decided to take a little sightseeing trip over Japan before splashing down in the Pacific Ocean. Unsurprisingly, the international community actually managed to agree on something for once. North Korea's actions were a big, fat no-no. Condemnations poured in from world leaders, diplomats scrambled, and Twitter erupted in a flurry of angry hashtags. This latest missile test has ratcheted up tensions in the region to levels not seen since, well, North Korea's last missile test. It's a dangerous game they're playing, one with potentially catastrophic consequences. Over in Europe, the continent known for its charming accents and delectable pastries, the European Union is facing a challenge as difficult as a Rubik's Cube designed by Kafka. The number of migrants and refugees arriving at Europe's doorstep is surging. Countries like Italy and Greece are struggling to cope with the influx. Migrant reception centers are overflowing and resources are stretched thin. The EU is, as usual, divided. Some member states call for greater burden sharing, while others focus on protecting their borders. The EU needs to find a solution, and fast. Well, folks, it seems the political situation in Niger is about as stable as a Jenga tower built on a roller coaster. Remember that coup back in July? The one where the democratically elected president Mohamed Bazoum was ousted by his own military? Yeah, about that. It's still going on. The West African Regional Bloc, ECOWAS, is not amused. They've slapped sanctions on the military junta, and are even threatening to send in the troops if the coup leaders don't pack their bags and head back to the barracks. The situation is incredibly tense, and the threat of violence is very real. The international community is urging dialogue and a peaceful resolution, but so far it seems everyone involved is more interested in flexing their muscles than finding a compromise. So, stay tuned folks, because this is one geopolitical drama that's far from over. Well folks, it seems the war in Ukraine, that grim spectacle of human suffering and geopolitical brinkmanship, is showing no signs of abating. In fact, things have taken a particularly nasty turn in recent days, with Russia intensifying its attacks on southern Ukraine. Vladimir Putin has decided to double down on his campaign of destruction, unleashing a barrage of firepower on key Ukrainian port cities, including Odessa and Mykolaiv. These cities, strategically vital for Ukraine's economy, are now bearing the brunt of Russia's aggression. Russia's targets are no accident. They're deliberately going after Ukraine's grain export infrastructure, hoping to cripple the country's economy and sow chaos in global food markets. The international community has condemned the attacks, but words seem to do little to deter Putin's ambitions. So, as the bombs continue to fall and the death toll mounts, the people of Ukraine are left to face the brutal reality of a war that shows no signs of ending anytime soon. From war-torn Ukraine to the fire-ravaged hills of Greece, the bad news just keeps on coming. This week, wildfires fueled by tinder-dry conditions and driven by strong winds have been tearing through northern Greece, leaving a trail of devastation in their wake. The images are apocalyptic: vast swaths of forest reduced to smoldering ash, homes engulfed in flames, and the sky choked with a thick, acrid smoke that blots out the sun. Thousands of residents and tourists, fleeing for their lives, have been evacuated from the affected regions, many forced to abandon their homes and possessions to the mercy of the flames. Firefighters are working tirelessly to contain the blaze, but the battle is far from over. The fires, fueled by a combination of extreme heat, drought, and strong winds, are proving incredibly difficult to control. This latest disaster is a stark reminder of the growing threat posed by climate change. The situation in Greece is dire, and the international community must come together to provide support and assistance. From the ashes of Greece to the shrinking forests of the Amazon, the planet is sending us a message, folks, and it's not a subtle one. Brazil, home to the world's largest rainforest, is facing an environmental crisis of epic proportions, one that threatens the very lungs of our planet. Deforestation in the Amazon has reached a fever pitch, with over 1,000 square kilometers of rainforest vanishing in the past month alone. Illegal logging, mining, and cattle ranching are the main culprits, driven by a toxic cocktail of corruption, weak law enforcement, and a blatant disregard for the environmental consequences. The Amazon, often referred to as the lungs of the planet, plays a vital role in regulating the global climate, absorbing vast amounts of carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. Its destruction has dire implications for all of us, not just the people of Brazil. The international community has expressed concern, urging Brazil to take action to protect this irreplaceable ecosystem. The situation is dire, folks, and the time for action is now. The fate of the Amazon, and indeed the future of our planet, hangs in the balance. And finally, folks, because no week of global chaos would be complete without a healthy dose of extreme weather, let's head over to Asia, where the Mercury has been doing its best impression of a runaway freight train. This week, parts of South and Southeast Asia have been trapped in the grip of a record-breaking heat wave, with temperatures soaring higher than a politician's promises during an election year. The extreme heat has pushed power grids to the brink, leaving millions sweltering in the dark. Hospitals are overflowing with heatstroke victims, schools have been forced to close, and the streets are eerily empty as people seek refuge from the relentless sun. It's a stark reminder that climate change isn't some abstract threat for future generations to deal with. It's here, it's now, and it's hotter than a jalapeno in a sauna. Will we finally wake up and take meaningful action to address this crisis? Only time will tell, but one thing's for sure, it's getting hot in here. And that, my friends, is the news for this week. Congratulations on making it through this whirlwind tour of global mayhem. Thank you for watching USA Weekly News Plus. We'll be back next week with more news from around the world, and hopefully at least one story about a puppy rescuing a kitten from a tree. Don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and comment. And if you're feeling particularly generous, check out our affiliate market links in the description. Until next time, stay informed, stay safe, and try to stay sane.